President Lucilla, I am Cameron, Permanent Secretary of the Space Trek Collective Board. By appointment of the board, and on behalf of the Investors Conference, I hereby convene this second special inquiry concerning the synchronous program of Star Torch Academy. Pursuant to Article 12 of the Space Trek Collective Charter, President Lucilla, you may now raise any procedural objections regarding the attendees, the agenda, or the draft of this session.
I would like to know the national composition of this review panel, Ms. Cameron.
This panel consists of 10 members, all from the new Federation. 5 serve as special representatives, and of the remaining 4 permanent board members, 2 have abstained and delegated their voting rights to the Federation. Additionally, we have Mr. Alto, attending as independent auditor on behalf of the Blackshores.
Then, Ms. Cameron, I believe the current composition of this panel fails to comply with charter regulations governing review committees.
According to the regulations, any participant authorized by a board member shall be deemed to hold the same nationality as that member. The panel's composition is perfectly valid.
Pardon the interruption. If that's the case, then Rover, currently a student at Rebel College, can also be considered a panelist appointed by the Black Shores. Here's the paperwork.
Welcome, Rover.
I have no further questions, Ms. Cameron.
Then, per the agenda, I will now relay the investors' resolution following our previous inquiry. Given that the loss of the Exostrider constitutes a de facto failure of the program, our immediate priority is to establish a compensation plan for the affected assets and students. Furthermore, the board directs that the synchronous program must be terminated immediately, or at minimum suspended.
My stance remains unchanged, Ms. Cameron. I intend to continue the program.
We require a justification.
Panelists, this is a theoretical prototype for a shield designed to counter retroact rain, created by one of our synchronists. This prototype significantly accelerated the development of Jinzhou's own defenses. It saved countless lives during the war against the Threnodian Overthrax. And yet, the material used in this prototype was originally nothing more than discarded scrap from one of the engineering department's experiments. It was only because its designer was a synchronist, educated in engineering, void matter, and even meteorology, that this material found a second life.
You seem to be arguing for the superiority of general education for the synchronists, President Lucilla. However, general education isn't even included in the program's white paper. I fail to see a link between that and advancing the synchronous program. The shield is an impressive surprise, but given the cost of gambling on such a slim probability, the cost-effectiveness is simply too low.
Ms. Cameron, panelists, how exactly are we meant to measure the cost-effectiveness of failure? As you can see, this shattered component comes from a failed experiment. one that was not even recorded in the collective's official gazette. A synchronist gave her life as the price for validating her theory. 15 months later, this very component became the final piece for the construction of the Star Ward Riseway, the bridge between Lahaiwar's Earth and the sky. Humanity does not always set out for the sake of victory, Ms. Cameron. Our synchronists know from the day they enroll. No one knows when the Exostrider will awaken, and the odds that they'll be the one to pilot it are slim. Yet they come anyway. They march toward likely failure from the very start. So I ask you, can you truly say that such failure has no value? And how can we call that a failure of the Synchronists, when the Exostrider was the one who banished LF1 from our world?
Secretary Cameron, the Black Shores representative requests the floor.
Proceed.
On the subject of unforeseen benefits from the program, we find ourselves in agreement with President Lucilla. This is a set of disclosable data we've just compiled. A significant proportion of current Black Shore members came from Star Torch Academy. These Bloom Bearers demonstrate exceptional capability, talent, and resolve, traits most prominent among the Synchronists. Furthermore, the Synchronists serve as role models for other students. I believe Rover is better suited to speak on that.
The Synchronist program is a search for a way out for our civilization. When we believed the Exostrider was the only route, then those fit to pilot it were the Synchronists. Now that the Exostrider is no longer a viable option, the ones fit to search for a new way out are still our Synchronists.
Yes, which is why I must disagree with evaluating the Synchronist program purely in terms of cost-effectiveness. I urge investors to reconsider the criteria used to measure its value.
We require a discussion. This session is adjourned for 5 minutes.
Let them see your potential. Let them see your value. But that is not enough.
President Lucilla, following the review panel's deliberation, we fully recognize the potential value of the Synchronists as an independent academic division, as well as their role model effect. However, as Rover stated, only those fit to shoulder the burden of finding a new way out deserve the title Synchronist. Therefore, we propose a compromise. Rebel College will be preserved, but all future training must be subject to the guidance and review of this panel. Let's both take a step back, shall we? President Lucilla.
This is it. The final fight, Lucilla. Take a deep breath. Keep your composure. And remember, Everything you regret. Everything that brings you joy. Everything you have lost. Everything you have witnessed. The answer you chase. The treasure you give everything to protect. No, that won't be necessary, Secretary Cameron. The Synchronists of today, they remain the closest thing this world has to a way out for our civilization. After our confrontation with Aleph 1, we recovered this audio recording from the interstellar probe Farwatcher.
It's nothing more than static.
Even so, it is the only legacy the pioneers of Solaris have left us. We are not alone, Secretary Cameron. Just as our ancestors took shelter in caves, just as Star Torch Academy was built in Lahairoi, just as humanity itself endures on Solaris, a brave soul took the first step to claim that future.
I fail to see what this has to do with the Synchronists.
Using Rebel College research, we can build vehicles driven entirely by augmented resonance. That means complete immunity to frequency interference. And the training our Synchronists undergo makes them the perfect pilots for these vessels.
But the Strider Gate has been sealed. Not to mention, whatever lies beyond can hardly be called a route.
Who said civilization's route to the future has to go down?
The stars. President Lucilla, I'm sure you know, any instrument that nears the etheric sea.
I am well aware of that. However, by relying on augmented resonance effects, the Academy can overcome that barrier.
And if it fails, the cockpit becomes a coffin. Is that a chance you're willing to take?
This is our decision. If the answer lies beyond death, then that's where we go. Just wait and see. My brightest students will pierce the sky for all to see.
The car will be here soon. I can take it from here.
Thanks for everything, Alto. Really.
You! It was a long day. The kind you don't forget, though. Rover, Can you pass a message to the president for me? After a speech like that, the outcome doesn't matter half as much. Anyway, chillax. Everything's gonna be all right. Well, catch you at the Black Shores, my friend.
Yeah. Till next time.
The lenses convert the reactor drive's light into storable energy. During inspections, always check the lenses
I can give you a ride to the
just in
training
case of
ground, but
emergency.
stay away from my sink jack. Grab the back bumper.
Let's get moving. She is not here. She is likely still at the review hall.
Thank you. I'll look for her there.
I'm sorry.
What for?
If I had been more helpful, perhaps the outcome would have been more satisfying.
This was her battle. You and I have already done our best for her.
Go check. Let's get moving. Let's get moving.
rough assignment. I hope you've had time to recuperate.
The illustrious rover. Jinzhou, Raguna, Septimont, and now Lahai Roi. Why, of all times, do you choose to remain behind the curtain?
She understands what her students need better than I ever could.
She's let that childish idealism cloud her judgment. Since Solaris was first trapped beneath the etheric sea, we've seen hundreds of attempts, hundreds of failures. But the reality is we can't even bring their bodies home. She chooses to indulge her students' whims? Fine. Then she's bound to them. One more casualty, and the investors will lose their patience with the program and hold her accountable. Ultimately, sacrificing our finest young minds to suicidal experiments. That's not just a failure. It's a disgrace to our species itself. Useless. All of it. Oh, forget I said that. Just an old woman's rambling. Don't read too much into it. Give Lucilla a message. Kristen autographed a premier memento for her. If she wants it, she'll need to return to the new Fed and claim it herself.
And you're Lucilla's...
Failed teacher. Nothing more.
Which button do I press to set the alarm? Which button do I press to set the alarm?
Yo, synchronist! We're all rooting for Rebel College!
Ah, you're early.
Isn't it a bit weird to wear your piloting suit to a class in another department?